joining us. Brilliant. So, right, Sue, you going to kick us off?
Okay, well this design is done by the catering team who have had to run between the kitchen and the catering design, so it's a bit limited. And also we didn't have time to discuss this with Paul, and so we've kind of filled in a few gaps.
And the assumptions.
Yeah. And our remit was to design the entrance and kind of the area around there, the parking and the interface really.
The interface with the outside world.
Yeah. We could have gone a bit further with that because we could have gone into the thought about the community and advertising in the wider aspect, but with our time limitation being the catering crew, we couldn't do that. So we tried to identify the function of Moelyci, which is quite difficult because it's such a broad thing, and at the moment it's a land that's used by people, animals, and with conservation in mind, and trying to bring income streams in from that. What we kind of thought that it's maybe a clearer vision is that it's a human resource, and that to focus more on sustainable, self-supporting systems that promote and teach skills for a healthy future for people and land. We were guessing really, but then we looked at the limiting factors, and in the limiting factors, the parking, the gradual sloping of the land, water escaping from the wetlands, unused walkways, reason not visible from the track, so people couldn't really access some of the areas. They're not visibly obvious, and the signage on the gate being individual companies or being seen as individual interests within Moelyci, so there wasn't an integrated vision of Moelyci to outside, which left lots of questions, and we ourselves when we first came couldn't find it. It was just a fruit and veg sign that was obvious, and the wording for Moelyci is quite small, and it's on a sloping rock or the top of a notice board, so it needs to be integrated. So we focused on that, and the good soil being adjacent to the field boundary, the field itself being depleted soil, the boundary itself causing problems because sheep need to be moved across what could be a much more used area, and it limits the space for parking and for any kind of anything that we develop there for the public, and the good grass being maybe not used at all, and I don't even know how it's kept short. I suppose some models have to go out and cut it, which is a lost resource. And then the lack of facilities for people here, so sleeping, washing, although we've got a schoolroom, there's limits to what it can be used for. So if you have people staying longer, which we've done, we've found that it's quite difficult. And then obviously the obvious things like planning, which could limit our future development, and the language. So we've thought about the language because it's bilingual. And then obviously the background, which we really can't, we feel we're not really informed enough to go into the trustees and the other interests and the funding that may have been gathered up in the past and how that might affect future funding applications. So that we can't really take that into consideration because we don't know what's been done before. So with that in mind, we drew up a calendar maybe to try and think how we could develop these areas in year 1 and year 2. So Rich has looked into this a bit more, being our building person.
Indeed. So, yeah, the signage really needs to be clear, understandable. The simple things at the gate aren't really where you're going to be driving past and go, oh, and read all about it. It's more of just simple parking, free and disabled. You come in, brings them in. That's as much information. You can have the heading of what we are as Moelyci, which is still undetermined in a sense, which this is a bit of our overview of what we're going to do. So North Wales Permaculture Academy, Moelyci Environment Education Enterprise Centre, 639 Permaculture Landscape Project, part of the Comparative Land Trust, where a lot of this kind of information can convey, as well as the existing businesses that are here, which
so we thought symbols,
change
the simple, like you do on the Brown Road sign, simple symbols that cross bilingually, multilingually.
So we would like to develop brown signs that can lead us to here, and the main roads that come past here are littered with brown signs with many symbols upon them. And picnic area, there's a simple little sign we could have, things like that can bring people in, make them know that it's that. So yes, we need to develop more parking because we would like more footfall for income streams to come, for education, for the things we plan to do here, we are envisaging. So we'd like to make this with eco-paving and bring quite a big section of car parking here. There's a section of car park here which we think would be suitable for coaches as well. So opening it up to coach tours.
So that's the original car park, extending it a little bit for coach, so a coach can turn around. And then the grassy border that we've identified as the more productive grassland, to actually park within that and create more of a kind of picnic parking slots with individual tables and interplanting. And we focused on all people with blind and disabled as well. So we're thinking of
edible, interactable gardens, edible picnic area, use your raspberries, your fruit, stuff like that growing. And possibly we have a little business called Radna Raised Beds, which we'd like to sort of section the car park on the roadside with, as well, can be edible things, and sensory gardens for people who can't see, lavenders, lovely roses, and they're planted with edible stuff, which can also interact with community groups, school groups, and coming to do pond dipping, learning about the environment, learning about little bits of the nature,
when you come into the entrance, on the right-hand side has been planted as a small forest, a small woodland, and it's very overgrown at the moment, but there is a boardwalk in there with a pond, and some of you may not even have noticed this area, it's so overgrown, but it's quite a substantial piece of land, and we were thinking to extend the boardwalks through it with picnic areas, and then that makes it easier for anyone who is physically impaired, because then they can get out of the car and have an immediate picnic interactive spot, and school groups too, so that we don't get an invasion of people up the track to unnecessary impact on the land, and we can keep most people who are on a very short visit or a school visit can be hosted down at the bottom, and will be satisfied with that as an experience, their first experience maybe with Moelyci.
Yes, indeed. So that would need a bit of TLC around it, just taking back some of the trees that are in there. They're kind of planted as little things, and they don't really realise they'll grow up to really big things. So there was benches here, there was that there, that kind of had that vision in the past, so I'd like to enhance on that and make it a very accessible area to all people with different disabilities as well. And we're really interested in doctors prescribing depressive people or people with these ailments, little downtime, strawberry picking, this kind of stuff. All this kind of stuff really helps people much better than the drugs do. And there's inroads into the health and well-being of people as well within the community that you could link to with the local GPs and stuff to say, well, why don't you think about these ideas where we're getting people little groups, mindfulness groups and stuff, bring them down. Let's talk about the future with that. So we'd like information here, with more footfall and everything that we hopefully would gain. We'd hopefully like to put in a recycling centre, not at the road, but possibly at the end of that, so it's accessible from picnic area, from car park area, and proper recycling, real clear, identifiable, and people go, I didn't know you could recycle that, some Tetra Packs to the things that they don't think we can recycle, and get a grip on that, and it's a useful resource basically. Yes, so this area, we're thinking, again, a little bit of picnic with the raised beds coming
So
here.
that's the second
but
part
kind
of the boundary, of the
Yeah.
border, of the grassy
Yeah.
border.
So
The
we
higher
need,
part of it.
yeah, we
Because
need
this is
to,
gradually sloping uphill, isn't it?
yeah, that's why Sophie walking a little bit off.
No,
I prefer a walk downhill, but in this case, you're just going to have to walk uphill a little bit. Disabled access, of course, and yeah, we talk about boarding more of this, which can give disabled access right into the small coppice and wooded area. Yeah, so yeah, a compost toilet as well. Amenities down here we'd like to see as well, i.e. the recycling compost toilet. Possibly so, or showers. I don't know if that really comes into your remit down here, because showers I think would be on somebody else's remit up here. Yeah, and maybe we should talk about what we'd like as here as an information visitor centre and shop front that we have. Something stunning. I've done some quick examples. We thought of stuff in the round, but it looked a bit too colonial. Something really simple, using eco products, round pole timber, lovely things. So a lot of the information that we imagined it's sitting here within the landscape. So major information boards here, clearly telling what our aims and goals are here. Tell me where that is, the market garden stuff. The allotment's pretty much apparent to the local community anyway, so yeah, the information of what is all going on site, and the beautiful and brilliant walk that goes around Moelyci, which we'd like to signpost more as well. And again, simple signpost, if it's just a little person walking and a disabled sign quite frequently, and how we painted those stones out there with whitewash. Little stones everywhere that kind of keep you on this track, and possibly other coloured stones if you want to go to other just specific parts of this site to see this, or walk your dog, or be employed. Yeah. So a visitor centre here, which is stunning. Yeah, you'll be able to see it from the road. And encourages anybody that is coming here for other reasons than walking and a picnic to get in here. Oh, the shops here, loads of craft that's on. We've already made a symbiosis with Geraint. His wool has now turned into rugs that could be in the shop within a matter of days, you know. And so there's a good symbiosis with some of the farming that's already happening here, and can be evolved upon. Right, so yes, amenities, water, there are limiting factors to that, yet water, planning, the cost, the financial cost. How we'd like to approach some of the financial cost of this is through teaching, through weekend courses, week courses on sustainable buildings. We could possibly have a teaching area for schools here, which I got to Newcastle was really interested in seeing what they've done and their approach, and how much interest in football he has, and he's turning away applicants constantly, which could be a resource to us. We seem to be singing from the same hymn sheet, really. So yeah, and the actual build of this could be run through apprenticeships and apprentices, so they're starting to learn how to do eco-build stuff, working with wonderful products like this lime hemp that's on the wall, or material as we seen last week, the workshops I done with making stuff that's just here, the materials and commodities that are here. So they're bringing a bit of the project cost down in that sense, so you're not buying CLS timber from this company that buys it from Finland, that's FSC and everything. There's FSC wood all around Wales. It's one of the most woody parts of the British Isles. So yeah, local materials. We've made inroads into some of the local people here, like Bellingham, like Howell, who's just down the road, who has a wood yard. These would be people we work with in symbiosis and seem to be wanting a dream similar to this and looking after our food security, home security, shelter security within the local area. Yeah. So yeah, we'd love to build example. Well, that's year one. Create and integrate with existing projects, i.e. building up Jameson, Domerkine, Marble, Howell and Sawmill. A new info pamphlet as well for the tourists and stuff, and at every single campsite and everything, we've got a big list of 1,001 things to do, and you can read, and we'd love our pamphlet to be in there telling about the Permaculture Centre, or courses we start getting in a diary for running possibly early next year. And we can bring a lot of our skills to this, and I dearly love to, and I want to get involved in building sustainable housing and long-term, short-term housing, you know, stuff that can come up 40 years, just back to compost. So we need to site and house volunteer. I think it's starting to go into the other remits that come
Well, it is slightly. I mean, our because we need volunteers and apprentices and students to help build a visitor centre, for instance, and walkways. We need somewhere for people to stay. So our project kind of runs throughout Moelyci, and really we need somewhere for people to camp. We need somewhere for them to dry their clothes if they're working in the rain. We need hot showers. So it has encroached on other people's design sort of remit. So we kind of drew into it like for weekend courses or volunteer weekends where we can put in some infrastructure in the first year, and then in the second year we'll have the infrastructure to host more sort of valuable courses, week courses on the building itself. So we can do more serious projects in the second year if we can put infrastructure in the first year. And it only needs to be a drying room, compost toilets, solar showers, and maybe some examples of sustainable builds within the land so that people can sleep over. So it could just be a turf roof house within the trees, but your students could sleep in there if it's raining or cold.
Which gets built through apprenticeship schemes, and I like the OCN accreditation where it'd be hard to just give one apprenticeship over a year just on carpentry or this, so I can see quite the way the OCN works. You can build up CV building sort of accreditation and bolstering up your CV and finding out where you want to go in life. I love working with sustainable materials, or I love market gardening, I want to do this, and bring accreditation to it. And with all the skills. So you can tick boxes, tick boxes, tick boxes, tick boxes. Not just to say, carpentry, we've done this, we've done that. You can have all that, you can have so much more as well, even stuff like cooking, preserving workshops. You know, bring everything into accreditation, which I'm really interested in doing. And like I said, it bolsters people's CVs. It launches something like PDC course launches people into the next stages of their lives. Indeed. So hopefully a lot of that could get built. We could hopefully gain grant funding and stuff for that, for education. That's pretty. Want to add anyone?
Mention the events field, which has already been in use.
Do you want to come and talk about some of the things you've drawn in? Because
I think
we've drawn a beautiful picture here with all sorts of nice little as interesting.
Basically walked us round in that footpath area, which you can see in yellow. She's got secluded groves so people can go there and sort of sit down and contemplate whatever. Planted with lots and lots of lush fruits and things like this, and blackberries and natural plum stands. And bringing in lots and lots of insects in a natural wild garden kind of environment which they can walk through.
And little flat parts we just probably like to leave alone, and let nature feed within itself and these sort of wetter areas. Yeah, the offence field. We looked at that as I think it was already existed as kind of spillover or as a car park for when big events happen.
That's what it's been.
Yeah, and there seems a good overspill use for this while still maintaining the symbiosis with Geraint for these grazing programmes that he has. Until we can possibly look at these grazing programmes and develop it. Yeah, it's quite a big party, but it's possibly going to go on here, agriculture. So yeah, it's been a great symbiosis with him already. We getting that material, and over the week it made sense in the workshops. And yeah, we didn't need to import
Yeah, we
it.
bought all of this wool off him, so he hasn't had to drive it to the wool board.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we love the edible picnic area. Yeah, we love something like that. Encourages more people to go, you can do that. Yeah.
And the barbecue area as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Little
little
sausage
barbecue
and
in there, dedicated little barbecues you can do. Yeah, rather than raised beds, get them in there, they can be advertised, more revenue streams from here. And yes,
And the visitor centre that Rich has designed, we've drawn it so it's got a turf roof, and it sits in the landscape with a dining area outside al fresco on the back here, so that you can sit on the south east side and look at the mountains from there and look into the land at Moelyci. And on the north side, which you can see from the gate, would be a timber frame frontage with a large glass area to let the light into the shop area, dining area.
it mostly would be
inside.
north, but our roof is a great aspect for solar PV
Yeah.
or hot water heating.
And what we thought about this upstairs of this, the front, is you'll be able to see down to the entrance and you'll be able to see into this growing area, parking area, and you'll be able to, on there we can display growing techniques. For people who can't get further up the hill, then they'll be able to have a good taster of
Yeah, a lot of the information can be done around these raised beds and maybe
then-
ongoing trialling with biochar, not biochar, and that.
And it takes the impact off the rest of the track and invasion into areas that may be being used and for students or for people who are growing.
And that being again the best area we think for all the information you're going to get about the site, about what's going on, and courses and events that are happening. Yeah, nice green on the sides, disabled access as well. For all round.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were thinking about a two-storey building there.
With a good ramp system, so that you can even get upstairs and into the dining area in a wheelchair. What were you saying? You were going to say, Ken?
The old bridge, beautiful feature that's half been forgotten about, and the massive sort of yard behind it with an industrial thing going on, needs reinstating quite quickly.
Yeah,
It
the
was an
park
ancient
over here.
picnic site which is in the conflict, and people still alive will remember that, and they'd be coming back to have a look if it was re-landscaped and made a feature of. So there could be an extra little
They did
picnic
a little
table
ceremony.
there with, get that going again.
They did a little ceremony there, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's
Years
an
ago,
important spot.
really
It's
nice.
a beautiful bridge.
Yeah.
Excellent. Are you still with us, Paul?
Yeah.
If only you can see the picture. But I will be.
Yeah, we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Probably email.
Yeah. I do like the M and the Moelyci. I do like the font of writing that they've chosen. So yeah, it's maybe something to play with that.
That's details in design.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, shall I offer the questions out to the group now?
Any points, yeah, different clarification points really
Yeah.
for people.
Yes,
I observed yesterday using my observation techniques that when traffic comes in, it's a very difficult entrance way to come in if you thought about widening the entrance at all. And also once you're on the driveway, one car can only pass at a time, so it's almost, would you consider opening it up and having two cars being able to pass? Would you not see that as an issue?
We don't think that's an issue because we think
No.
we're going to capture the cars.
We'd like to
across
capture the cars right here, basically,
Yeah.
and There'd be a touch more footfall, I imagine, for students coming here, but still we'd like them to be part
And
of
what,
it
you
and
know,
walk within the...
How many cars do you think you can capture at the bottom there?
well, because this we could, but this is quite a wide border, and we were thinking of creating parking within this as well.
And a herringbone style,
Yeah.
so
We-
that
it
probably
can-
maximise
Yeah.
the use of the car park. We could aim it between 50 and 75, which I think would safely bring us up to here.
And coaches or something.
Yeah, and this area here, which is the sort of turning
Right,
area
yeah,
for
yeah.
people, if a coach came in, he would simply easily reverse into that, and I think there's room enough for 3, just more,
You might have to,
more highlighted
you might
as a
have to
car
take
park
some-
boundary.
some trees out, but it's been very overplanted on the edges there, and things will grow and encroach on each other anyway, so it just needs tidying up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
would be well, I don't know if they made the concrete, but the blocks with the holes in, so you plant the grass between them, so
Yeah,
it's quite
eco-paving.
actually eco-paving.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the entrance way? One car can only
It's-
pass
Yeah,
at a time.
yeah.
You wouldn't, it is
You
quite
could
a
possibly look at
approach.
that, indeed.
No, I mean, like a car coming, if there's a queue of cars trying to get in,
Yeah.
cars trying to get out, how do
Yeah.
you see that?
We need to avoid that situation indeed, definitely. But I'd love that Moelyci side to be a bit more stood up. And so there is a little room to manoeuvre there with that wall.
You could widen the gateway.
If you look on
Yeah.
the left
There's
side,
a little pathway, a little public footpath
Yeah,
that's
and a
just
gate.
completely abandoned,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That you could easily
You could
just widen it by
widen
that
it
much,
there,
and
yes.
you'd probably find that would be enough to.
Yeah,
If you had that
good point,
situation, you know it's working. It's a success if you had that situation with you.
It's a nice
Yeah.
problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good,
I'm
good
thinking
point.
of events when there is a queue of traffic trying to
Yes.
come in and it's quite a dangerous
That's
road.
exactly when
Yeah.
it happened. Yeah, and it is a fast road,
But
and
you have
most
to- you have
times
to
come round
manage
these
traffic.
corners. And we could
Prevent.
possibly approach the council to see if they would reduce the speed limit at that point to 40, preferably a 30. Good signage again on the road, entrance, slow children, these little signs just along the way really help. And yeah, it's a good point, a little bit of whining, but as it is, yes, they can get in, when a big event happens, it would have that backfall, so yeah, hopefully we could get
And
rid
the
of
work
it.
actually had to widen it to have a reception bay before they coming into the gate. So that would need a whole new entrance way, which could be in the future, but you know, you could manage with what we have for now until.
Mhm. It would certainly be an issue with planning, I think, as the width of that gate and the expected footfall that we were going to have. So yeah, probably a good point that.
I think that's a really, really powerful resource in
Mm.
sense of the future.
Brilliant, yeah.
Mhm.
It's got clear views from the main road right across that meadow.
Yeah,
You'll be able to see it
yeah.
all the way from the right hand side till
There.
the entrance.
So it's a good 20 seconds of driving that you get, oh. With neon lights. Moelyci.
Does that begin to utilise some of the, what I keep calling the dead field,
Yeah,
the one
it's
with the old landfill
Yeah.
site?
This here,
Yeah.
The one with the sheep on, that's the dead field, which is good.
this one.
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
My
That's
geography
great,
rubbish.
yeah, that's been raised.
So that is grazed at the moment. We've only kind of remitted the entire part. Yeah, we probably need change of use on this as well. And, again, I don't
We've just
understand
used
what
what
the
we- what's there.
planning issues are with these, whether
Yeah.
this is still under agricultural
Because of the
planning or...
because of the limitations and politics within the site, we've just used the spaces that are marginal at the moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could
pretty
develop
much.
in the future.
Yeah, so yeah, we would like to develop this a bit more with paths and look at the word that's observing and interacting and yeah, a design group on this too, we could go straight into a lot more detail.
Yeah, there are bees in this meadow here in hives as well, so that's another thing that we brought into this nature space, interaction with the beekeepers and teaching beekeeping in these kind of low
Yeah.
structures that we built in the wood.
Yeah, and a more detailed survey of this would show us more. It was hard to see where the water is flowing through this landscape because of such dry weather that we've had, but it looked like, yeah, there was marsh and marsh. It was developing from here, becoming drier, and then this is all dry here with the road. I'm sure the road acts as quite a barrier to the movement of water coming through the landscape. Yeah.
Because my geography is just rubbish again, I'm trying to work out where the new visitor centre kind of structure fits with
Right here. So right here is
The
the
shop.
market gardens and
Okay.
stuff. So there's the kind of crossroads thing here. There is a bit of wooded area just here. So the kind of section. As soon as you come into this field, basically on this side.
It's the grassy border, the top of the grassy
Just one
border.
other
We,
bridge.
we did measure out 13 metres from there to there, and we wondered whether this boundary line that's whether it's there or it's there in the future is another thing. Probably will be. We could possibly increase it. That's it. That was the space we required. So,
That
yeah,
was possible.
around
the
about
tree
20 metres this way from where the trees end, and it's the grassy field. But as you go,
If it is possible to move the boundary or the fence back, there was kind of other alternative eye-catching designs with
yeah,
a
definitely.
Fantastic, yeah.
We step it out to 10, the skills draw us a picture of the visitor centre.
with an eating area around on a balcony, low balcony all the way around, so it gives more directional shelter from the wind.
Brilliant.
Mm.
Plus,
Yes, designs. Design in the future.
Do you think that would potentially then just replace the kind of cafe shop idea?
I think that needs to be more apparent, more bigger, more bolder, and it could leave better space. They seem to be really encroached for space in the shop with the business that's going on with the veg boxes and stuff. And I could maybe just dedicate that to veg box systems and free their area up, and we can take their produce and that could be front of house for them there as well. Or the information's all here at this place, market garden around there, you can have sales there if you require. But yeah, definitely for information, and workshops we were looking at here as well, having demonstration days like every Sunday, Chaplain's here to work. We could run demonstrations, especially through summer and stuff, and play scheme things for the kids in summer. Come and get hands on making gypsy flowers, making stools, making rugs, making a mess.
Yeah, we also had a brainwave about the running of the visitors centre. If it had,
Yes.
if it had downstairs had a screen, an ability to screen sections, then you could have workshop space. So somebody like me could go in and do a day's spinning and wool sort of textile craft and demonstrate to people and sell their stuff, whilst also like serving tea, coffee, or keeping an eye on the shop. So you've got somebody with a vested interest in the shop itself and the cafe actually there on site, and for somebody like me it'd be really useful to have somewhere that I can work
And sell the occasional tea and coffee.
yeah.
Or just sell tea and coffee all day.
And for me, a no rent sales facility is a great thing to have because it's hard to make money if you're a crafter. So.
Yeah, work for is that a peppercorn rent and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
brilliant. I'm going to round of applause. So, I'll just give just a little bit of feedback, and then we'll close that first presentation. But what I'll say is, okay, you asked to design an entrance experience, and I think you have, and frame that as a sort of the interface with the wider world. It's the shop front, isn't it? It's the on Moelyci, and it's a really beautifully imagined, really fantastically integrated design. It's really incremental, it's really doable. We know where to start, we just start working towards that wider pattern. I think it works on lots of different ways. The things that jumped out at me was the simplicity, but there's free parking, picnic area. That's it, it's just a symbol, who cares what it's called? I'm driving past, I come from Birmingham, I can't even pronounce a stupid language anyway, kind of thing.
And
You know,
using
if that's the
great car,
information
honestly.
they need to know. That's what's going to get me to turn my car in, and everything that you,
Food, loo.
yes, you know, and all that sort of compost loo, even that becomes a total selling point. If you're a bored family sat on the A5, we've all been there with a whole bunch of kids in the back, you know, whatever. Or being one of those kids.
We need a new symbol for compost loo.
They got one, they did one at CAT, but they're selling out. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I thought that was a piece of little genius, was that really
The clarity of signage, bring people in, and then the whole thing actually becomes a shop front for everything else, and slowly draws you in. And of course, you know, we've got a building already in the veg garden place, but that's step one. You know, that's just, we're at base camp still, and we're starting to paint a vision where we could be going, even quite rapidly in the future. But again, it fits beautifully into a sort of an incremental design. We start to vision what we want, start putting the easy bits in place almost straight away, and that just have a cumulative benefit, you know, from then on. So yeah, I just want to congratulate you. Really, I think I've taken a whole load of notes as well. And if Paul's still there, maybe have any closing thoughts, Paul? Yes. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your patience and listening in. And, okay, well, the photos will be coming away forthwith, so don't worry. Finally, everybody. Okay.
Brilliant.
Cheers, Paul. Bye. Excellent. Wow. Well, I mean, yeah. Come on, so, group 2, 10 minutes, is that right? Just a quick shakedown, 10 minutes, just for me, quick jobs.